They're so good at their jobs. Are you
Hmm.
watching the OC now, like with the return of Fancy Pants Dubrow?
I am. Yeah, I'm watching it now, and I'm. Although some of the fights the last few episodes seem very fabricated. I'm like, I don't know how authentic these fights are lately. They just
Like
seem
that,
too dumb. You know what I mean? You're,
I
like,
find every time there's new people, it's like you know the show and you want
yeah,
this. To me, it's like you want this so bad. Like you want this
yeah,
job,
you can
and here
tell
you are, and it's too
manufacturing.
much.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the new girl, is it Nicole, the one that's going through
No
divorce?
ally, yeah.
Noelle, yeah, okay. Like her going off on the one that
Jennifer.
the med spa chick, you're like, that's just a stupid fight. Like that's not like a real fight. You're mad because she posted a like photo and tagged you in it. You know what I mean? Like
And you're calling her thirsty. I mean,
I know. I'm like, that's what I said to my wife. I'm like, literally everyone that's on the show is thirsty. Like that's the whole point of being on the show. And then the whole fight with Shannon, I said to my wife, I was like, well, why wouldn't you mention, like, hey, isn't that weird that they're hanging out with the chick that sued? Like, I would say that. To me, like, they acted like this was some big secret. I'm like, I, as a human, would be like, hey, isn't that weird? That girl, like, sued him and now they're all hanging out. So, anyway, that seemed like a weird fight, too.
so are you team Shannon or team Heather? I mean,
I don't know, because they all end up doing something dumb. I don't I don't really take the teams sides. I really just more enjoy it. It's one of those shows that I can watch and just like not think about anything and just laugh. Like, I mean, I was laughing the other day saying, I wonder what Bolo is up to, thinking about the Atlanta Housewives.
I mean, out of all the thoughts you could have, Fortune, I wouldn't think that would be the one. I mean, I've
I
often
just
wondered what, Bolo has been up to in the dark hours of the night, but that's just me.
That's true. I get that, but I was more of just like, do you think his career's like, is he in demand? Is has Bolo's like calendar filled up since then?
Well, let me tell you one thing about Bolo that I
What's
know.
that?
He doesn't really want to talk because
Oh,
my team has tried. We
yeah,
have tried again. Listen, there's very few people in the housewives world that escape my clause.
yeah.
No pun intended in making a reference to your starring role in clause, but Bolo doesn't. Bolo doesn't just,
he
I think he wants to work, but I don't think
he's
he
not
wants to.
thirsty.
He's not thirsty, and I don't think he wants to
Wow.
talk about either that or my other thought goes to like, Candy is like, listen,
Right.
this is what you need to do when you're in the dungeon, and here are all your NDAs, and like, we're
Oh,
just, I don't
maybe.
know, but he does not want to come on the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast. So there we
Interesting.
go.
That I mean, what Candy has learned that hasn't she even said like people have to sign NDAs?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
she
I mean,
learned.
he doesn't do other interviews. It's not like me. I mean, he was
Yeah.
on Watch What Happens even, and like he barely answered Andy's questions. I'm like, you better answer daddy's questions or you're going to be like,
he
forget
doesn't
about
care.
me over
He doesn't
here.
care. Well, that was one of the greatest episodes of TV when Bolo was introduced. Our mouths dropped. We
That
were
was,
just it was fantastic.
well, see, I saw the dungeon show live and he's in when Candy
Oh,
toured,
really?
like he
I didn't
was
realize
in the
that.
show. So
Yeah.
I already knew all about Bolo and what to expect. Listen, seeing it live, you're still like, I'm so confused about what's happened. Like you're just like, I don't understand this. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Well, then Candy has hired a tried and true guy for her show. If he's not spilling the beans, she's got to hold on to Bolo.
Bolo is. And speaking of your wife, I just saw she posted, I mean, maybe like a week or two ago, her picture with Kathy Hilton. She ran into
Oh
Kathy
yeah,
Hilton somewhere.
we really enjoyed Kathy on the. We did not know what to expect. Like most people, I didn't know she was so funny. Obviously, a lot of the humor she's not intending. Um, but we had no idea when. I mean, like everyone, when she goes, "Who was Hunky Dory?" I died. I cried for like 5 minutes. It was some of the best television watching her. So I think she's coming back, right? I think they figured that all out.
She's coming back. I mean, I assume she got some amount of money that she wanted. So
Yeah. We saw her at an event, and Jack, like, rarely does my wife want a picture with someone. She's like, I have to get a picture with Kathy. And I go, well, if it makes sense. And I went to the bathroom, and she said Kathy came and like sat down beside her because her heels were hurting, and they got a picture. So it
when
worked
she
out pretty
sits next
great.
to you, just ask for that picture.
That and what was she said something else that was a true classic, but it's escaping me right
All I
now.
know is she took a nap during a cast trip. Like if any other cast member was like, I mean, I'm tired, they'd be like, honey, you are fired. Like you understand, like this is work. When Kathy Hilton's sleeping, they're like, well, I
Yeah,
mean, if we say something to her, she's just gonna quit. So we really,
right.
I mean,
That I think that's the beauty of her on the show is she doesn't need it, and she would quit in 2.2 seconds. So everybody like treats her different, like that she gets a certain amount of respect that no one gives each other on that show. Like she even bosses her Kyle around, and it's incredible.
I'm like the woman, like, why is no one understanding this? She's sleeping during a cast trip. Like this is grounds for termination. Like production would make
Yeah,
anyone else get up and be like, your scene started 5 minutes ago. You have to go
yeah,
down there.
but they know
Like
better.
they're like,
And
what?
she
She would literally go home. She would say like,
yeah,
okay, I need 5 minutes, and then she would be out the door.
she's sleeping with that fan on that she brings herself, which I'm obsessed with. I'm also obsessed that she eats on TV trays.
It's right.
There's so I just want. I mean, they're giving us exactly what we want. We want her, and we need to see more of her life. All of the people, like the dinners in her house. I mean, everything is just like a true housewives fantasy.
That dinner when it was all coming down with Erika, where that butler was just like pouring the
Yeah.
martinis, and he's just like, I have never seen something like this. Probably in his head, like this is not how Kathy's guests behave ever.
No, because everyone minds their P's and Q's at that house. And he must have just been like, I don't know what's going on.
Like, what is this new group that Kathy's gotten herself involved
Yeah.
with? We're gonna have a talk later, Miss Kathy.
What is hunky dory?
It was
Greatest line.
it was the greatest line.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get starstruck like when
Or
you
who
meet
who was
people?
hunky dory? Is that what she said? Who was hunky dory?
It was the
Do
best
I?
line of the whole season, and I think she offset Erika, like all the drama with Erika. Like
Oh,
it
I know
was,
because there was a
we
lot of
needed
Erica
that.
stuff. It was pretty heavy. What did you ask?
Do you get starstruck? Like, here's your wife. She never asked for pictures, but then she had to Kathy, like, with just not housewives, just like
Yeah.
Hollywood. Like, are you the type that gets starstruck, or are you
Yeah, for sure. I get excited when I see certain people. I mean, I can't off the top of my head think of who, but yeah, for sure. I mean, I get excited when I see people I've worked with. Uh, two very famous Jennifers, Jennifer Aniston and Jennifer Garner. I've driven them both in movies. I drove Jennifer Aniston in an Uber and Jennifer Garner in an ambulance. And I still talk to both of them, but I still even get starstruck when I see them and they're, talking to me. I'm just like pinching myself, like, this is so cool.
Jennifer Aniston is a good one to get starstruck by.
Oh, she's so wonderful. I mean, they're both truly wonderful. I still talk to them both on Instagram, and the fact that they would take time, to just, I don't know, have a conversation. I know that's a normal human thing to do, but they're just very busy women, and both are so kind. And Jen, yeah, Jen is like every time I see Jennifer Aniston, she's just like she's warm, lovely and cares. She's like saw was looking at pictures of you and your wife on Instagram, and she's so beautiful, and your mom seems really cool. You're